Welcome to Nick on Knicks, where your boy N.I.C rants about the latest Knicks game. That's what happens. You come out sluggish. You let the other team be more physical and be the aggressor. You play against a young, hungry team that is well coached, highly motivated, and explosive. And you get a bad L, a shitty loss for the Knicks in this early season. Knicks drop down to 3-3. The Rockets are now 4-3, and the Knicks are 1-2 on their zigzag across the country road trip. Thanks, NBA schedule makers. Not a good loss, man. I mean, there's no loss is a good loss, but to me, this is a particularly bad loss because you feel like the Rockets are a team that eventually you need to be better than, so therefore you should be able to take care of business. Last time we went to Houston, we had the horrible call against Jalen Brunson on the last second three-pointer that he was called for a foul. NBA ruled that it was incidental contact. Doesn't matter. They hit the free throws. We lose the game. Game should have went into overtime, but we lose that game, and it's one of those that sticks with you. And this game, though it wasn't as dramatic of a loss at the end, I think will stick with me and many other Knicks fans because we let this team come out and dictate from the beginning. They were getting whatever shot they wanted, and we were seeming to go into exactly what they wanted, which was a Karl Anthony Towns ISO 19 feet away from the basket with Dylan Brooks on him. I know that Cat is a great offensive talent. I do not love the idea of him going up against a guy who's that strong. I realize that he's shorter than him, but Dylan Brooks is very strong. We know he's a good defender, and he's definitely an adjutant. And I thought that Towns, when he catches the ball that far away, I'd almost rather see him give it up and go repost closer or catch the ball further away with his face to the basket where he can utilize the pump fake, and then go from there. I didn't think that was a good matchup from us. Udoka's a very, very good coach. And the Knicks, I kind of felt like played into exactly what they were trying to game plan us to do on defense. And we have to be better than that. We have to be better than that. We have to come out with a better intensity to begin the game. The Rockets were the much more physical team. The refs were letting them play. I thought the refs were fucking horrible for the first three quarters. But you know what? The Knicks played into that by the way that they seem to be looking for fouls as opposed to just saying, okay, if they're going to let us foul, then we're going to start fouling them. The lack of superstar whistle that Brunson gets is absurd. For a guy of his caliber, man, they let this guy get beat the fuck up. It's very annoying. Very, very hard to watch as a Knicks fan. And I'm not exactly sure what's going to get it changed. Tom Thibodeau has bitched and complained about it. Brunson has bitched and complained about it, both on the floor and off, mostly on the floor. He typically keeps it clean in the and doesn't have anything to say, but with not saying anything, says plenty in his post games. Thibodeau has, sent videos to the NBA and whatever. But Brunson, man, for some reason, they just don't give this guy the star treatment at all. And in fact, it almost looks like both he and Karl Anthony Towns get like undrafted free agent calls and whistles. Towns sometimes with the lack of whistles is killing me as well. Regardless, the Knicks have to play better. Once again, we saw towards the end of a game when it's close, we just devolve into Brunson hero ball, which I hate. It's the same thing we used to do with Melo back in the day. Can we continue to move a ball? Can we run a pick and roll with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns in the fourth ever? It seems like the most efficient play that we have, the play that's so hard to stop against the Knicks. It's our two best players running the most common action run in the NBA since the beginning of time. And in the fourth quarter, it seems like we never, ever run it. Am I missing something? Is it happening? I'm just not noticing. I don't know. I don't think so. I thought Bridges tonight tried to be a little bit too slick, had some, with the little cute backdoor passes, and he was being a little bit more lackadaisical. This is not the Detroit Pistons, and a couple of those got picked off. He had a couple turnovers tonight. Bridges have 4 turnovers tonight. 2 that I can remember off the top of my head, like that were like I just described, where he was trying to make some sort of little backdoor like slick shit, and it got stolen. But he had a total of 4 turnovers tonight. That's too many out of Bridges. I thought Bridges, he was 6 of 14. He had his 15 points. He had the worst plus minus. No, I'm sorry. Karl Anthony Towns had the worst plus minus as a negative 26. Bridges had a negative 21. And I just overall, I just didn't love Bridges' game tonight. I didn't really love anybody. It's a lot of empty stats. There's plenty of Knicks tonight who have just, decent stat lines, but in my opinion, didn't play that well. Brunson's 9 of 24. He ends up with 29 points, but that's on 24 shots. And he's 2 of 4 from behind the arc. He's 9 of 9 from the charity stripe, which I like because he hasn't been great in his free throws. He does have 8 assists, but with Brunson, my biggest issue was how he played down the stretch. Some of the shots that he took, like we just came off a timeout and he's just taking a tough turnaround shot. I just would like to see us get the ball and move it around a little bit more. The Knicks look great this season when the ball is whipping around. I hate when we have possessions where 1 or 2 people touches it. I understand that they're trying to get Dylan Brooks on Cat. Get Cat the ball right there. Instead of everybody clearing out, how about somebody goes and sets him a screen? How about somebody cuts back door? How about we do some pin down, action on the weak side? Anything, something. Let's just do a weak side screen to have somebody just rolling across the middle like an OG catching the ball and going towards the basket. Anything. I hate when we just get into the give it to that guy and watch him. I don't care who it is. That's not the way that the Knicks are designed to play. That's not our best basketball. Brunson and Towns are both guys that can take over and create for themselves. Bridges can do it a little bit too, but it's not our best basketball. And when we do it over and over and over down the stretch of a close game, we're going to lose the fucking game. Stop doing that. So frustrating, man. OG Anunoby played well tonight. OG was 7 of 14, 5 of 6 from 3. His threes kept us in the game. The game could have got ugly if it wasn't for OG's threes early and late. I mean, he just continued to knock down threes, obviously, all game. 5 of 6 is fantastic. He's great on defense, as always. He had a great weak side help block, 2 blocks on the night for OG. I thought that OG played great, and I think that this is a type of effort from him that you would really, really enjoy in a win because he did a little bit of everything. Josh Hart, he gave you his typical kind of game, I thought. Josh Hart was getting real annoyed with the refs. I don't blame him, especially a guy that plays like he does, plays as physical as he does. He's getting hit in the head. He's getting, Josh Hart should have had 3 more and ones tonight, at least. He should have had 3 and ones tonight, in addition to, I think, maybe the one. I don't know if he ever got an and one tonight, actually. But I thought Josh Hart played pretty hard. And I thought Josh Hart's effort kept us in the game one point in the second quarter where he kind of, it seemed like he was challenging his teammates to like, let's fucking go. Let's not let these guys come out here and just run us off the floor. And the Knicks, did their best to battle back. They got to be within 1 at one point in the fourth quarter. But down the stretch, Sengun and Jalen Green, they made plays. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, they didn't make plays. And that was it. Miles McBride, I've never seen a guy have a better floor game and a worse shooting game. I mean, he's been shooting the cover off the ball thus far this season. Guy goes 0 for 9, 0 for 5 from 3, but he had a couple great defensive plays. He was playing hard, getting his hands on loose balls, just wasn't able to hit a shot tonight. We really needed one. We needed him a few times. There was times, especially towards the end of that first half, in the first half in general, where he had momentum threes that could have really helped us either, continue to push through or at least keep it close. And he wasn't able to get him tonight. But Deuce played hard. Deuce will knock him down. Tyler Kolek comes in. There was a couple times, that Houston team is explosive. There's no non-athletes on that floor. And there was a couple times where he looked like the non-athlete on the floor, Tyler Kolek, where guys were just blowing past him and going up for dunks, and he was kind of just there. He hit the 1-3 that he took. He shot it very confidently. As soon as he caught it, put it up, bang. He only got 5 minutes with Campaign being out due to the hamstring or I know I heard hamstring, I've heard illness, I've seen it listed as a few different things, but whatever the case may be, campaign wasn't in there. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a long-term problem. But with that being the case, we had Tyler Kolek in there for 5.5 minutes, and he did okay. Didn't show much, didn't look horrible either. Jericho Sims got 15.5 minutes. In 15.5 minutes, Jericho had 4 boards, 1 offensive. He had 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 fouls, 0 points, 0 attempts. I'm sorry, man, but I don't even see any more Sims minutes at this point. I really don't. I would love to see Huck Porty get those minutes. I think Huck Porty is more active on the defense. I think that Jericho Sims makes some of the stupidest fouls. It's like a young Mitch where he's like fouling Steven Adams on a jump shot at the end of the foul, shot clock. And he gets the ball, but Brunson gets in, gives him a dish. He's right by the rim. You're the biggest guy on the floor at this point and the most athletic, and he dribbles the ball away, doesn't even look at the basket. What happened to all these little baby jump shots I saw you taking with Mike Bibby with your right and your left hand? You haven't taken one of those yet all season, and now you're turning down dunks. Jericho Sims, I'm sorry, his basketball IQ, his overall motor, his ability to diagnose a play and rotate on time and not do so late, all of those things are lacking. I've seen some flashes out of Huck Porty. There was the one game where Huck Porty played 12 minutes and Sims only played 4, I want to say. I want to see another one of those games and see what Huck Porty can do. Come on, Tibbs. I thought the way that we guarded Sengun, basically just having Towns play him when Towns is in foul trouble and therefore can't be aggressive, and he's killing Towns one-on-one, and then switching OG onto him and he's killing OG one-on-one. He's not a good matchup for either of them one-on-one, especially when he has it going. I thought that we should have mixed it up and thrown one of them at him and maybe brought a double team. Get the ball out of his hands. He's a big man catching the ball on the strong side. Come over, make him make a pass, rotate, make another rotation, and then get them out of that. They're not going to be able to get the ball back over and to him within that possession. And now you're forcing them to do something other than they want. You're dictating what they do instead of them dictating, which is what they did all game long. They dictated. We got dictated too. And that's how the game went. That is exactly how the game went. It's just, man, it was very frustrating. We had a lot of Knicks fans in the building tonight. They were talking about all the different Knicks fans and all the different jerseys that they had on the MSG broadcast. You heard the Deuce chant fairly loud when Deuce went up for his first 3, and it was like, oh, shit. We got some people in the building out there in H-Town. But, I mean, Towns, he's got to be better with the fouls, dog. I mean, come on, man. The fouls with Towns is something that's so frustrating. Minnesota fans talked about it, and now we're seeing it as Knicks fans. But sometimes, Wally made this point, when he's backing a guy and he goes and they're being physical, if he goes and just puts his arm out in a legal manner, that arm is going to be up around that guy's head if it's Dylan Brooks because he's so much shorter than him. So it's kind of a tough position for the rest to put him in, but he has to understand that he has to keep those elbows in. He does not need to get out here and clear anybody out. You're big, you're strong. Sometimes Towns goes through people when he can just go over people. There's times where he does things, he's trying to go through them, and he gets to a point where it's just like, Doug, you're the best shooting big man of all time, right? According to you. The numbers tend to agree with you. When you get to a spot, as opposed to going and seeking more contact, go and maybe seek enough contact to get a foul and just go straight up and shoot. You're going to hit that shot most of the time, big cat. Come on, man. Making it too hard on yourself sometimes, but the refs fucking suck tonight. I'm really trying not to lean on them because I feel like it's a game the Knicks should have won regardless. And I hear my dad in my ear talking about, I never blame the refs, blah, 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 but the refs were not good tonight. Brunson felt that way. Tibbs felt that way. Josh Hart felt that way. Karl Anthony Towns felt that way. Sengun gets more respect than Towns does down low. I mean, Towns is getting hammered a few different times. He's looking at the ref like, how? Like, how is that not a foul? Yeah, it wasn't great, man. Wasn't a great night. Wasn't a great night for anybody. I think that really the only Nick tonight that had a good night, you could say, is OG. Everybody else either couldn't shoot or just didn't bring the intensity that we need. That's what it was really about. It was about a lack of intensity. We did not impose our will on this team or on this game. And that's the result you get. This is Nick on Knicks. Peace.